has jumped ahead of Dr. Carson in some polls. Now, if you want to know who the other favored person is, if it isn't Bush, well, this type of reporting should tell you who that is. Rubio. And there are a lot of people who don't like Rubio because of his stance on immigration. He's like this amnesty hack as well. I got to tell you, I have real problems with that myself. I do. But it's good to see that that Bush is down. Now, this poll, the latest Pew poll, that out of possible primary voters, Trump is still sternly and staunchly in the lead at 25%. Carson comes in second at 16%, but there's another poll I'll go over in a few minutes that says that Rubio is at 16%. I don't know what poll that is. Pew is usually pretty reputable if you want to follow polls. In that you have Rubio in third at 8%, along with Fiorina 8%, Cruz down at 6%, Bush slips to 4%, Huckabee, Paul are each at 2%, and all the others total up to be 4%. So Christie doesn't even have 2%, for all you Christie fans out there. Sorry, but that's the truth. And I know a lot of people think that, well, geez, we just can't have Donald. I have said, look, I don't know if I'm going to support Donald in the primary or not. I don't know yet. But I will say this, that if Trump gets the nomination, he's highly electable over any Democrat that's currently out there. He can beat any Democrat that's out there. In that for a term for 4 years, Donald Trump would not be a bad choice for president of the United States of America. I'm just putting it out there for all you Trump naysayers. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to turn around and flip and go support the guy through the primaries, but I'm telling you that if he is the nominee, he's not a Romney. He's not a McCain. The guy is a businessman that knows what he's doing. He's a successful businessman, and I don't care what you say if he's worth $4 million, $10 million, $15 million, $4 billion, $10 billion, $100 billion. It doesn't really matter. The man is a self-made man, pretty much, in that he's dealt with disaster, economic disaster, and lived through it. He has never filed personal bankruptcy. Understand that. He has never filed personal bankruptcy. The man knows how to negotiate his way out of a jam. And if he knows how to negotiate and get the best deal possible, even in foreign countries dealing with foreign governments, you better believe, because his idea of a win-win is Donald wins. He doesn't care if anybody else wins. A win-win situation for Donald Trump is Donald wins. And that's the kind of guy I want on our side negotiating for our interests as a nation, is that the win-win situation is when America wins. We don't care if anybody else wins. As long as America wins, that's a win-win. He's the kind of guy that's going to get a win-win for the USA every single time. Or he's not going to do it. He's also, he might be a little bit unpredictable and a little bit roguish, but, those are the kind of guys that sort of keep other arrogant dictators in check. People thought that they could they thought they were going to test Ronald Reagan. And they learned pretty quickly that they should not test him. And they didn't. And when Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, meaning get rid of communism, they did. We need another president like that. We need another president that can speak softly. Reagan did speak softly. He carried a big, powerful stick, man, and he was able to back up his soft words. Next president's got a tremendous job of rebuilding our military. I'll tell you that. That's just that. What this guy, current president, has done to our military is It's just shy of being treasonous. I don't like to use that word very often, but it really is. He has decimated our military. I mean, he's decimated the ranks. He's decimated the equipment ability. He's decimated the morale. He has done If you thought Jimmy Carter was bad for the military, then you're not paying attention to what this guy has done. And he's not done yet. That's the scary part. And we've got countries like Russia and China and Iran building up and puffing their chest out, saying, you're not so big anymore, are you, USA? No, we still have the best trained, best equipped military on the planet. But as far as the numbers, we're not the best by a large margin anymore. I mean, you got Russian stuff that's pretty equivalent to ours in certain circumstances. And you got China, even though their stuff may not be at our level yet, they've got a hell of a lot more of it. And sometimes even when you have the best equipment, all it really takes is sheer numbers to overwhelm you. Because no matter how good our stuff is, it's still limited to the number that it can take on at any one time. And if we have a military that is currently deployed that can take on, let's say a 1 million man army, well, you get a 2 million man army and you're going to be overrun. Doesn't matter what your equipment can do. It can't handle 2 million. It can only handle 1 million. So when you got aircraft, fighter jets, we can shoot down, 20 of the Chinese military aircraft for every one of ours that go down. Unfortunately, we don't have enough aircraft to take out all of theirs, even at that ratio. You understand what I'm saying? That's how bad he's decimated our military. No matter how good our equipment and how good our pilots are, they can't defend our country. For every single pilot, China's got 30. Our guys just can't do it. And I'm not being pessimistic about it. I'm being a realist. And I know the numbers are not exact science. Numbers are a little off because, China doesn't have that many. But let's face it, the scenario is the same. We just can't handle everything that can be thrown at us right now. We can't. Yeah, we can do some real damage to them, which is probably why they haven't started anything with us yet. But it's dangerously close to the point where they're getting brave enough to probably actually be willing to take us on directly. Maybe not here in the United States, but in some conflict somewhere, they're going to get to the point where they feel that they're bold enough and strong enough to take us on directly. And Putin already thinks he's there. Trust me, what do you think he's doing down in Syria? He's flying and he's telling the U.S., hey, y'all get the hell out of here. Don't you fly. No, I've come down here and now I've got the no-fly zone. Not you, me. And what's our president doing? He's sitting under the desk in the Oval Office, sucking his thumb. Well, I know somebody's going to think that I saw him, that I'm being literal. That is not being literal. I'm just saying that he's not doing anything. Doing jack. Here's the poll that I mentioned about Rubio, and this is from the Daily Mail, actually. Oftentimes I have to go offshore to get news about onshore. What? Yeah, that's pretty sad when you have to go to a foreign publication to get accurate news on what's going on in your own country because our own lamestream media just won't report it. Marco Rubio, it says, surges. Excuse me. Marco Rubio, it says, surges into second place and carves out space as latest anti-Trump. He's the latest anti-Trump, they're saying. As Donald supposedly loses 8 points after California debate. Now, Rubio's ascendancy will give Bush people no end of heartburn, of course. The senator has 16% support in a new YouGov Economist poll, putting him ahead of Ben Carson for second place behind Donald Trump. Now, it says Trump has lost 8 points of support since his September 16th appearance in the primary debate, while Rubio has leaped forward by 9 points. But the poll says that Donald still leads. Even though Rubio is at 16%, Donald still leads with 25%. Now, I find that amazing. Well, 8 points, that's still a far drop, but I find it amazing that all of these polls that keep coming out, they all say Donald's at 25. Now, I don't know if that proves that these polls are accurate on Donald, or if there is some sort of lamestream media conglomeration out there trying to limit his support by faking it at being at 25% when it could be higher. Because if we say it's at 25, that gives everybody else a chance, does it not? If Donald's at 35, 40%, well, and everybody else is down, in the teens or less, it makes it dire, it's hard to beat. But if they keep saying, well, Donald's at 25, and we got this guy who's now at 16, he's moving up. But I thought Carson was at 16. And then I thought Fiorina was at 16. I thought Carson was at 20 at one point. Well, why is it that nobody can seem to take Donald down? Why can't they get him below the 25% mark? I just find that very interesting. Just things that make you go, Things that make you go, You got to wonder this is why I do not believe in polls. I don't believe in them as gospel. I just look at them and say, okay, this could be a trend in this direction or a trend in that direction. But when you start seeing poll after poll after poll, showing that various people are in second place and they're all hitting like 16 or 17%, and Trump doesn't go below 25%, then I'm starting to think, wait a minute, everybody's got him at 25%, and his nearest competitor is always at 16%? There's something fishy going on there. I'm not saying that, that there's a conspiracy. I'm just saying the numbers that keep coming out this way make it appear that there's some shenanigans going on. I don't know if there is or isn't. You make up your own mind by looking at all the different poll numbers, but I'm just saying it looks funny. Anyway, so Rubio's now, depending on who you're talking to, it's either Carson or Rubio who's hanging it in at around 16%. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.